Welcome back to another video of RiffleNStoneFlyTying. Today I'll be tying a gold wire braided wet fly. This is a pattern I came up with a while ago. It's been probably a year since, but worked pretty good on some panfish this past year. The hook I'm using today is a Kona size 12 dry fly hook. And the thread I'll be using today is 6/0 uni thread in dark brown. Alright, we're going to start thread about the eye of the hook and then work down to the base about where the barb is usually. This is a barbless hook. I'm going to snip off the thread there, and then I'm going to start tying in my wire. And this I just braided clip previous. I'm going to tie that in, and I'm going to keep tying that wire all the way to the front so you get a nice body in there for the fly. Right about just 2/3 of the way up there, you can stop and then snip it off. Usually about where you would put a post on a dry fly. I'm going to start wrapping, make a body here. I can tell you a little bit more about this pattern. I just randomly one day just sitting there, don't know what to do. And this is back in March with COVID and all that stuff, and just trying to figure out like different patterns to make and stuff like that. But I was sitting, I was thinking, I was like, oh man, seen a couple of these like braided stuff or weaved wire and all that, and started tying this and braided some wire and started tying it on there. So some days you just gotta sit down and start tying something no matter what it is. I had a giveaway the other day, and those flies I didn't have a plan for at all. Alright, so here we're gonna start tying in our wire, or wrapping our wire to the front. You're going to want nice flat wraps with the braid, so you can see that braid pattern on the body of the fly. Nice close wraps. Wrap it all the way about 3/4 of the way up. Right about there. Then we're going to tie that off. Secure it down. And then try to break it off. I don't know how well it'll do. Usually I'll probably use a pair of scissors and snip that off. I know sometimes it ruins the scissors, but you gotta do what you gotta do. The pair I got are super old and beat up, so. Alright. Then the next thing we're going to tie in is our Peacock curl, which I'm using Wapsie from Avid Max. It's a strong Peacock curl. Use about 2 strands. Yeah. Pop the bases off of those just so they're a little more clean, and then tie it in. And this kind of gives it a nice flashiness, green look to it. And you're going to wrap it in. Give it just a couple wraps. It's nice in there. So we want some room for our soft tackle tie in. Sometimes if the hurl's being a pain, you can twist it a little bit just to keep it a little together. We're going to tie it off. A couple wraps just to get nice and secure. And then snip those off, snip the excess off, and then the next thing we're going to do is put in our hackle, which is a tan hen hackle we're going to tie in. We're going to brush those fibers back. So we're going to tie in the front first so we have enough room. Because if you tie it the other way, it's super hard to. I'm going to tie it in. Just a couple wraps to secure it. And then snip the excess off. And then give it a couple wraps. Smooth out that. We're going to start wrapping our soft tackle around. And I forgot to strip off the base. Usually you want to strip off the base here so you can get a nice clean finish on that. I'm going to get a couple wraps and make sure to brush it back as you're doing it because you don't want any hackle fibers sticking out the front there. Keep brushing it back, nice and smooth, and then hold that in there and then tie it off. And you can break this off here or snip it off however you like it. I broke it off a little bit there and snip it off the rest of it, the excess. And then next we're going to tie in some dubbing in the front just to clean that front up just a little bit. Give it a little bit better presentation. Going to be using a mix that I made a while back. It's alright. Probably tied just a tad bit too much in it. Probably pull off a little bit there. If you get too much in, you can just wind it back off and then strip off just a little bit. You can pull out a couple fibers there, as I did. Just pull out a few. And you're going to wrap it in nice and tightly. And then tie that off. Usually use a couple half hitches in there. And you're going to snip off the excess here. And there you go. There's a gold braided soft tackle wet fly. This one I gave it kind of a name. I call it Goldilocks, but name will probably stick for a while, but there you go. Make sure to go check out my Instagram and Etsy shop, link in description. Thank you much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.